Hi team, welcome to the MindFirst podcast. My name is Chris Misselbrook, and this podcast is a place where I can openly share my mental health journey with the intention of supporting others to prioritize theirs. I'm a wellness coach for teachers, nurses, and doctors who need help to overcome stress and avoid burnout. I'm also a first aid for mental health instructor, as I'm passionate about changing the way that we perceive our own and others' mental health and mind fitness. In this episode, I share in detail my road to burnout and reactive depression. I hope you enjoy the episode and reassures you, or you can connect with it in some way. So I used to think, as many still do, that being really busy at work was a reflection of how hard you are working, and in some ways, how successful you are. If you're busy, then you're working hard. If you're working hard, you're being the best you can. And therefore, if you're working to your maximum, you will get the promotions, then more money, a bigger house, and be happier. That's what I used to think. I realize now how ridiculous this is. But for years, this was literally how I lived my life. Since the age of 15, I've been very, very competitive with everything I did. I've always wanted to be the best that I can at everything I do. I take on new challenges. I like to stretch myself. I like to grow. An extreme growth mindset, if you like, in the words of Carol Dweck. I studied hard at GCSE and then A-levels. I got excellent A-levels in order to get to an excellent university. Then after university, a few things happened, but then eventually I did a postgraduate certificate of education to enter the world of teaching. And I became a PE teacher. But being just a PE teacher wasn't good enough for me. Once I completed my newly qualified teaching year, my NQT year, I was seeking a promotion because I had ambition. And 2 years later, in my third year, I became curriculum leader of Key Stage 3, which is years 7, 8, and 9. I worked really hard and I improved the curriculum and I did a really good job. And then 2 years later, I applied for the head of department job in the school that I was at the time. I didn't get the job. However, a few weeks later, another job came up as primary PE CPD coordinator. This basically meant that I went into primary schools and delivered PE training to the teachers and improved their skill at teaching PE. And then after 5 years, after 5 years that I was 5 years of teaching, I was no longer just a teacher. I was developing curricula. I was monitoring staff and training PE primary teachers in PE across like 6 different schools. Reflecting on this now, the amount of responsibility and additional workload that I was optionally taking on was crazy. But I was still pushing for this head of department job, because I'd set myself this goal, this target of becoming a head of department before I was 30. Why? I don't know why. Why have I set myself that goal? Because I was taught to be ambitious. But in June 2016, my daughter was born. She was born into this world, and nothing could prepare me for how much this was literally going to change my entire life. I was 28. I'd been teaching for 7 years, and she was born on the Monday. And then on the Wednesday, I remembered that I had applied for a head of department job at a different school I'd actually trained at in my training year. And I found out on that Wednesday that I'd got an interview, and the interview was on Friday. And I had 2 days to prepare with a newborn baby. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, oh my God. But I planned the lesson and I rocked up to the interview, and I was so happy. I'd become a new dad and I was chilled. I was on paternity. It was really cool. And I did the interview, did everything, and they let me go early so that I could get home to my family. So I was at home by about 12:30. And then I got the call. And the phone rang. I picked it up and said, Chris, we would like to offer you the job if you would like to accept. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I'm 29. I've got the goal. Yes, I'll take the job. I was overjoyed. So a child and a promotion all in the same week, this didn't seem real. Everything I'd worked towards was coming together. All the over ambitious goals I'd set myself, I was finally achieving them. This was success, wasn't it? So Tuesday, the 3rd of January, 2017, wind forward a little bit. Beck, my wife, Ava, and I, we've been away for New Year with all my best mates. We go away every year. And I was ready to start my new job. Period 1, I had a free lesson, a free period. And then period 2, I was straight into the teaching. And for 4 months, I worked from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday to Friday, and probably like 5 hours or something on the weekend. Some weeks it was even longer than that, like at least 65 hours per week, with a 7-month-old baby at home. And my wife at the time, I don't think she'll mind me saying this, was struggling with postnatal depression. So starting a new job in a new school is hard enough, but to start as a head of department in a school, which, okay, the school requires improvement, and it needed a bit of work doing to it. It was a busy time. And in my first term was so stressful. And by October half term in 2017, I felt like I did not have time to be a good teacher, good leader, a good manager, a good husband, a good dad. And this was making me feel really, really stressed, upset that I didn't have the relationship with my daughter, who is now 15 months old, that I wanted to have. I felt like a passenger in my own life is the only way I can explain it. After the half-term holidays, I felt so sick at the thought of returning back to work. When I was back at work on Monday, I was so anxious, burnt out, that I just couldn't focus on a single thing. I couldn't focus on one task. I was so overwhelmed with balancing my work and family and personal time. After opening up to my wife that night, she convinced me to go to the doctors the next day. And this simple act was how my road to acceptance started. Recovery came several months after, but this is the first step. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, highly stressed, please get in touch. Get in touch with me via LinkedIn, Chris Misselbrook, or Twitter. My Twitter handle is @MindFirst_UK. Even if it's just to tell someone who you know won't judge you the truth of how you feel. That in itself is going to make you feel better. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Good luck. Good luck, friends. And remember, you are stronger than, braver than you think. I hope my story, this is the first part of 3 of my burnout story, first of 3 parts. I hope it's made you feel less alone, but more importantly, more empowered to take action. And if you don't feel burnt out yourself, but you know someone else who might, then share this story, share this podcast. If you're a leader, you need to know that people mask burnout. People don't tell the truth about burnout, about their true feelings. So look for the signs, the symptoms, and look after your staff and look after yourself. Speak soon, friends. Bye.